What's up, guys? It's Nassim, aka DVD Collector. Today, I will be doing my complete comedy movie DVD collection. Yesterday, I did my animated films. Today, I'll be doing my comedies, and tomorrow, I'll be doing my horror section, and then my dramas, and then my TV show collection. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up here, we have Zoolander, a movie from Ben Stiller that was a lot of people's favorite when it first came out, and then over time, people began to hate it. I don't understand people liking Ben Stiller, anyways. I think he's very not funny. So this film, I watched it, and I questioned myself after watching it because of how bad and dull the movie is. Next up, we have one of the funniest comedies in a while, Wood and Millers. Basically, it's about a drug dealer that has to go across Mexico and he makes a fake family. Now, the people that wrote this film are a lot of people that have worked with Adam Sandler or in the comedy circuit with a lot of SNL writers, and you can tell it's definitely a lot more vulgar. Um, and it says here by the Daybreak US, by far the funniest movie since The Hangover. I wouldn't say that, but it is enjoyable nonetheless. Next up, we have my second favorite Seth Rogen comedy. This is basically the Avengers for every single person that Seth Rogen has either worked with or know. You have Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jay Baruchel, Dan McBride, Craig Robinson, Michael Cera, and a lot of other people in it. Jason Segel makes an appearance. Um, Rihanna, a lot of people. This is a very funny movie, very raunchy, but it's also very referential. There's a scene where Seth Rogen and James Franco acknowledge Freaks and Geeks, their TV show where they first met. This is written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the two guys that would end up writing Superbad before This Is the End. This is 21 and over. This movie is not funny at all. It tries to be raunchy like The Hangover, and it says here from the writers of The Hangover, but I don't think that's true because at least The Hangover had charm. This does not. This is just, you know, drugs, alcohol, and woman, and that's it. And the movie is not very funny. I think Miles Teller is very annoying in the film. He actually really doesn't serve any purpose. Much like the movie, it doesn't really. Tammy, this one is not funny. I like Melissa McCarthy in certain things. This is not one of the best movies. Her and her husband directed this film. Will Ferrell and Adam McKay produced the film. Um, I think it's well directed, but it also feels like her and her husband decided to make a film and they just went to their friends and produced it with not much of a plot to it that is really intriguing. Yeah, Melissa McCarthy and her husband wrote the film. It wasn't really that well written at all. Next up, we have Ted. This is the unrated and theatrical cut. This is a very funny movie. I think Seth MacFarlane is hilarious. So when he voices a teddy bear that is vulgar and profane with the same voice as Peter Griffin, it's bound to be funny. This is a lot better than the second movie, although I like the second one a little bit more because towards the ending it's very Seth MacFarlane. But the first one is a classic, in my opinion. Next up, we have This Is 40. This is the sort of sequel to Knocked Up, as it says. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so This Is 40 is basically, um, written by Judd Apatow, and it's sort of the sequel of Knocked Up, following Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd's character. It's not as good as Knocked Up. It kind of feels much more like a drama than a comedy. You have Leslie Mann and Judd Apatow's real life kids, so for me, it feels like a movie that Judd Apatow decided to write about his own marriage, and the surrogate of Judd Apatow is Paul Rudd. That's what it feels like. It's better as a drama than it is a comedy, but it does have its funny moments. The 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is my least favorite Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen project. Because honestly, if they would have taken out Steve Carell, maybe I would have liked it a little bit. I'm not really a fan of his comedy. But yeah, it's all right. I mean, I get the point of it. It's one of their first feature film. Coming off of Undeclared and Freaks and Geeks, Seth Rogen does a phenomenal job as being what he always is. Um, we have the funniest Will Ferrell movie I think he's ever done, Step Brothers. This is just laugh out loud funny. Richard Jenkins, John C. Riley, Seth Rogen, a lot of people that he works with. Adam McKay does a great job producing and writing it. Judd Apatow produced it. It's very great comedy, very raunchy, but it's endearing in a certain way. And the drum set scene, that scene is very funny. We have Super Fast. This is a movie by Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. They are not my favorite. However, they seem to think that they have a little hold on the parody concept during this time. Not now. You don't see much parodies from them now. I think they learned a lesson, but back in the early to mid 2000s, they would just crank out parodies after parodies. This is one of the weakest ones, mainly because I don't like Fast and Furious. So if you're gonna parody it, I'm not gonna get it first of all, and they throw a lot of pop culture references, and this movie does not feel like something I like. Like it's not a concept I can get behind, and also the cast is very unknown. Super bad. This used to be my favorite Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen comedy and Evan Goldberg, but it's not. It's American Pie mixed in with raunchy elements, but it's still super fun. I mean, you have Fogel McLovin. He's a like he's the funniest character throughout the film. It's a good film about friendship and what happens after high school. If you get past the raunchy elements, it's an endearing film, but it's very very raunchy. This is Spy Kids 3, not technically a comedy, more of a kids film. This is probably the weakest Spy Kids movies. I like the first one. That's about it. But Spy Kids 3 is alright. Scooby Dooby Doo 1 and 2, the films, live action. Haven't seen them in a while, but these are family films, not comedies. Scrooge, I have not seen. Cannot comment on it. Smokey and the Bandit, The Jerk, Animal House, and Car Wash. Animal House is funny. You can't do the movie nowadays. A lot of the plot points you can. The Jerk neither. Um, Car Wash is alright. It's Richard Pryor, but it's very dumbed down, so he's not as raunchy as he used to be. And this is also the 70s. He could have been, but nah, he does his job. Super Troopers. This film is very dumb, very stupid, but some of it's hilarious. To my mind, it's alright. The sequel sucks though. Don't watch the sequel, but if you're gonna watch any of them, watch this one. This also came out in 2000 and when did it come out? 2002. So during this time, a lot of comedies aim to be raunchy, and you got a lot like Super Troopers, a couple more we're gonna mention down the line, but this is one of the better ones that came out of the early 2000s. Superhero movie. This film parodies. Now this, listen, I know it has Drake Bell in it, but it's also one of the better um parody films because it's not made by Aaron Friedberg and Jason Seltzer. It's made by the guys that would end up taking over the scary movie franchise. A lot of their humor. Leslie Nielsen is always a hoot to watch, especially in these ones because he plays such an old man well, like a confused old man. Next up, we have the Scary Movie franchise, what I consider to be this. The first movie is a classic. The second movie is, in my opinion, the better one. The third movie is alright. It's very PG-13, and you can tell, but it pushes the envelope for what you can do in a PG-13 film. And the fourth one loses its charm, but I think because Charlie Sheen was in it for such a limited amount of time, he was the raunchiest part of the movie, and he's only in the first 5 minutes. So if you get behind these movies, they're raunchy, but they're fun. Like, they're super fun. The Sitter, a Jonah Hill movie where he plays a babysitter. Now, I have a few problems with the movie. Number one, it's not produced by any of his normal people, which I find surprising. It is directed by the guy that would end up doing the Halloween trilogy. But this, I feel like, in my opinion, if it was produced by Seth Rogen's people, it would be a lot funnier. But Jonah Hill is always fun to watch, and just the humor he brings to these kids. I mean, there's scenes where there's a little Colombian boy, and he likes to blow up stuff, and Jonah Hill's reaction to it is funny. It's also very heartwarming because scenes where Jonah Hill talks to the kids like they're like people and not just little kids. It's very fun, very family oriented, but still very raunchy at the same time. Role models. This is a movie that I feel like if this movie would have came out in 2012, the same amount of raunch, same everything, it would get thrown in the dumpster. But because it came out at the time it did in 2008, it went in theaters. It didn't do so well, but Leslie Mann, I mean Elizabeth Banks, um, Jane Lynch, the kid that was in Superbad, and Sean William Scott from American Pie and Paul Rudd. They do a great performance, but the little boy that Sean William Scott is supposed to babysit, this little boy, he's the best part of the movie. He's extremely raunchy, but he's funny. We have Old School. This is my second favorite Will Ferrell movie. This is basically Luke Wilson finds out that his girlfriend, fiance, cheats on him. So he kind of has a midlife crisis. His friends, who are married with children, try to get him out of this rut by throwing college parties. Snoop Dogg is in the movie. Um, I don't know why he's in the movie, but Snoop Dogg's like, okay. Todd Phillips would end up writing and directing the Hangover trilogy. You can definitely see early remnants, especially the whole concept of friends doing something idiotic and reckless. That's kind of what Todd Phillips excels at. So this is just an early predecessor to what his career would end up projecting. Pineapple Express. This is a stoner comedy through and through. Danny McBride, Seth Rogen, James Franco, and Gary Cole, and of course, it's written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg and produced by David Gordon. No, directed by David Gordon Green. It's a fun action movie, but an even funnier comedy film. Because James Franco brings his performance. Amber Heard is in the film, and Seth Rogen is dating a high school girl. Yeah, I know, but it's funny. Paul, again, Seth Rogen, Nick Frost, Jason Bateman, Kristen Wiig, Sigourney Weaver. This is a very funny film. Uh, it's funny they cast Sigourney Weaver in it because she ended up being in the Alien franchise throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, kind of paying her homage. This is a raunchy 2010 movie. I think Jason Bateman's hilarious in it. Seth Rogen gives it his all, playing the alien Paul himself. Just the comedy is very funny. These are my favorite of these two movies is Paul. I don't like Shaun of the Dead, but that's my favorite. The other guys, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg. This is a really funny movie. I haven't seen it in years, but I like Mark Wahlberg in certain things. I love Will Ferrell being awkward in this film. But yeah, it's very fun. Dwayne Johnson. Who else? Uh, Samuel Jackson, Michael Keaton. Yeah, just Michael Keaton. Batman's in the film. That's fun. Orgasmo. This is Matt and Trey's second feature film, I think, after South Park, or third. This was heavily scrutinized due to it was rated NC-17 due to the graphic nature, but it turns out it wasn't really that bad. But they were being scrutinized due to them having the most profane show on network due to parents of South Park. So because parents didn't like South Park, when this movie was out, they banned it with an NC-17 rating. It's a very funny film. It's really stupid, but it's alright. I mean, it's raunchy, late 90s. Something you would watch like HBO or something. The Nice Guys. Haven't seen it. I started to watch it. I didn't really care for it. Okay, so The Nice Guys. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. Neighbors. Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne are basically the whole movie is just they're old people. They have a kid. A fraternity moves next door, and they end up partying with a bunch of college students. It's funny. It's not as raunchy as his other films, but it's alright. I enjoy it. You have all-time classics. The National Lampoon's Vacation and European Vacation. My favorite is definitely the first one. Chevy Chase, Anthony Michael Hall. Let's see who else. Randy Quaid. They are funny. Randy Quaid played the uncle. It's hilarious in my opinion. One of like the best 80s movie that Chevy Chase was in my opinion, is National Lampoon's Vacation. The Night Before. One of the worst Seth Rogen comedies I've ever seen. I don't know if it's because it's a Christmas film or because he doesn't bring the same energy as it's produced by Evan Goldberg. So I don't know why I don't like it. I don't know. It's one of his ones I don't like. Meet the Spartans. This is probably my favorite parody films that Jason Friedberg and Aaron Sosa had made. This is just, it's stupid, it's fun. Amy Winehouse references, Britney Spears shaving her head, Carmen Electra, who seems to be the pretty one in all these parody films. But this is an alright film. I mean, it's stupid, but it's a parody of 300 and Shrek and Ghost Rider and whatever that penguin is. I don't know who or what that penguin is supposed to parody, but he's in there. Movie 43. This is a stupid film. And I honestly do not know how they convinced somebody like, well, okay, somebody like Naomi Watts to be in a film like this. I get everybody else because they've either played stupid people or they kind of known for that energy. But Kate Bosworth, Halle Berry, and Richard Gere, I don't understand. It's stupid. A lot of the sketches are very vulgar. My favorite is The Leprechaun with Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott because I'm a fan of Johnny Knoxville and American Pie, so that makes sense. Matilda, one of my all-time favorite kid live-action films. It's a very sad film if you think about it because this girl is very misunderstood by her parents, and the only person that sees the potential in her is her teacher, and her parents don't want to acknowledge it. They're very broke, very poor, and Matilda loves to read, but her parents don't allow it. It seems. Danny DeVito, and uh, Renee Perlman are husband and wife, and I don't know if they were married at the time, but you can kind of see the romance. I mean, it's alright. The film's great though, but the romance is just. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates is very stupid. However, I enjoy it for Zac Efron and Adam Devine's chemistry, and Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza play great girls in the film. And it's a stupid, raunchy comedy that has nobody I recognize as a writer at all, but it's very fun nonetheless. We have Mallrats, Kevin Smith film. Definitely, this is definitely one of his longer films, but this is a very great predecessor sequel. Not really. All his films connect, but there's not a sequel until Clerks 2. But this is a very funny one. T.S. and Brody are not my favorite protagonists. My favorite, and it isn't until Jay and Silent Bob get into the film that I really stop feeling the energy. If they were not in the film, and if it was just T.S. and Brody doing their mission, I feel like it wouldn't be that well received. But you have to have Jay and Silent Bob in a Kevin Smith comedy. You have to, because they're funny. Jay's hysterical. We have the Laugh Out Loud 3-movie collection, Zombieland. So it's fun. It's a great zombie film. Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson, they're funny. Woody Harrelson's funny. Not another teen movie. This movie could never be made nowadays. It couldn't. It's raunchy, racist, homophobic, sexist, and offensive to every group and everybody in the world. And it picks on a lot of 80s and 90s teen movies. The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, and in 30 Minutes or Less, which is my least favorite comedy that Danny McBride has ever been in. I don't find it that funny at all. I only got this for Youth in Revolt, so I'm only going to talk about Youth in Revolt. Youth in Revolt is a very fun Michael Cera film, but it's very weird because the movie was, to my acknowledgement, was not marketed correctly, so you kind of get the idea that it's not really a comedy. But you watch it, it's funny, but it's a lot more like metaphorical in a way. So I like it. Year one's just stupid. I'm sorry, that's just stupid. The Longest Yard by Adam Sandler. I have the original and I have the remake. I got this purely for the remake with Adam Sandler. My least favorite Adam Sandler film. Well, I have many, but this one I did not like at all. I haven't seen the original with Burt Reynolds, but I should probably check it out. We have Liar Liar starring Jim Carrey. One of my favorite Jim Carrey performances about this guy who I believe he's always lying, but then for his son's wish or something, he's supposed to tell the truth for 24 hours. Jennifer Tilly's in this movie. Carrie Elwes, don't know how to pronounce that. A lot of people are in this movie. It's funny. It's one of the better Jim Carrey films, in my opinion. Little Man, Marlon Wayans, Shawn Wayans. This is definitely right after Scary Movie and right after White Chicks. In my opinion, this is the second funniest besides the Scary Movie films they've done. Marlon Wayans is basically a baby. Well, he's a midget, but he pretends to be a baby to sneak into Shawn Wayans' house and steal jewelry, but in the midst of it, they end up falling in love. It's very funny. Very raunchy, surprisingly, for PG-13. Little Nicky. This one I have not seen at all, but it's Adam Sandler, and I feel like this is about the point that people did not like him because he chooses to do voices, like complete voices in the film. And I don't like, he does stupid voices and it's annoying. Knocked Up. This is the first movie to This Is 40. This is very funny. Yes, the movie is long. Yes, the movie feels like it drags on at certain points, but it's also very, like, romantic. It's one of my favorite romantic comedies. Not my favorite. This is probably my second favorite. But this is alright. It's funny. It's very. It came out the same year as Superbad, surprisingly. James Silent Bob reboot. A lot of people did not like this film. I enjoyed it. I thought the reboot was funny. I thought it was very referential. This is basically okay. All my movies, including Dogma, Matt Damon does a reference where he's in a church and he's low key, and he says, "Well, you wonder where I've been," and he kind of points to the Bible and says, "I've been near Dogma," and this and that. So it's every single referential James Bob movie is in the film. Kevin Smith's daughter plays Jay's daughter, and just the comedy in the film. Jason Lee still has it, and he plays multiple different characters. A lot of the actors, as I drop it, a lot of the actors do end up playing multiple different characters throughout the film. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, they do end up playing multiple different characters to symbolize the different films they've done. This is The King of Staten Island, a Pete Davidson film. It's alright. I mean, it's Judd Apatow, a Pete Davidson story about kind of his life. His dad did die on 9/11, so you have that element to it. Steve Buscemi kind of brings a fatherly role to the film. Bill Burr's in it. Judd Apatow's daughter plays his sort of girlfriend. It's alright. It's funny. Yeah, I think Pete Davidson's alright. It's a Disaster is a weird little film. But it's unique. I mean, it does. It's underrated. Actually, it's very underrated. A lot of people don't even talk about the film. It wasn't released to my knowledge. Um, it's kind of like a Comic Con and festival kind of film, but it's alright. If you haven't seen it, check it out. These are Mun Wayne's films, not with his brother. I don't think. A Haunted House and A Haunted House 2. The first movie is funny. The second movie is funnier. Are these films stupid? Of course. Are they raunchy? Yes. Are they juvenile? Yes. Do they have the humor of a kid that is very stupid? Yes. Only kids really like the film because it's geared towards kids. Yes, it's raunchy. I understand that, but it's like, you know, who's gonna laugh at poop jokes and fart? So these films are very stupid and very dumb, but they serve their purpose as being dumb comedies. The Happy Time Murders with Melissa McCarthy. Haven't seen this film. I am gonna have to see it, but it's Muppets in a raunchy setting. Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. Okay, this is my own opinion. I prefer Grown Ups 2 a little bit more. I know a lot of people don't like. Actually, a lot of people don't like any of them, but they prefer the first one. I'm in the minority that likes the second one because I think the second one brings a lot more of Adam Sandler's characters. Yeah, he has certain characters that are in each film. Also, the plus side, Rob Schneider is my least favorite comedian at all. Like, I do not like him. And he's not in the second one, so that's a bonus for me. Next up, we have Goonies, Gremlins, and Gremlins Part 2. I don't like the Goonies. Gremlins is alright. Gremlins 2 is alright. They're not my favorite 80s films at all. The Guilt Trip, have not seen it. I can't stand Barbra Streisand at all. The Girl Next Door. This is oh wait, scratch that. Knocked Up is my third favorite romantic comedy. This is my second. This is a very fun film. It's very, very raunchy, but it kind of has a point to it. I think whoever wrote it he wanted it to happen to him. I think because wow, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. Haven't seen it. I don't think I would want to. A lot of people do not like this film. A lot. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I did see this film. I understand it was from the 80s, but this is like the raunchiest 80s film I've ever seen. I mean, there's scenes. I mean, a 16-year-old is dating a 24-year-old dude, and they they um they get intimate on a billboard. Yeah, that's really weird. Father Figures, dumb raunchy comedy with Ed Helms and Owen Wilson and Cat Williams. It's fun. It serves its purpose. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my second favorite 80s film. Very funny. Matthew Broderick. Um it's funny. It's funny, it's creative. It kind of, it Alan Ruck. It's very funny. Very very funny. John Hughes did produce and write this film. Funny people. Okay, this is my favorite Adam Sandler movie that he's ever done. Adam Sandler, in the movie, he has cancer, and he kind of recruits Seth Rogen to write jokes for him. And meanwhile, Adam Sandler tries to get back with his ex-wife because he thinks he's gonna die, so he tries to make amends with her. You just have a lot of stand-up comedians. You have a lot less of Adam Sandler's people and more of Seth Rogen. That's because Judd Apatow did write the film. However, the beginning, where you see Adam Sandler as a young dude with the hat, that was in his and Judd Apatow's apartment. They used to live together during the late 80s and early 90s. Actually, Judd Apatow was a writer on SNL during Adam Sandler's tenure on the show. So they knew each other from way back. Friday, the only good one out of the trilogy, Chris Tucker is hilarious. He needs to come back as a comedian. He really does. Ice Cube, of course. DJ Pooh would end up being this dude who he and Ice Cube rapped together back in the mid 90s. Bernie Mac was hilarious. Loved his TV show. Entourage, the movie. The movie is not that good compared to the show. This movie felt like the creator, Doug Ellen, wrote the film, meant it to come right after the show ended, waited a few years, and decided to release it. And it's not technically his fault because Mark Wahlberg is a producer of the film. And the show and the movie is based off of Mark Wahlberg and his crew's life during early Hollywood. Everybody Wants Some is the sort of sequel to Dazed and Confused. Haven't seen Everybody Wants Some. Gilbert Taylor is a kid movie that Seth Rogen wrote after Knocked Up and Superbad, and this has Owen Wilson, and he kind of protects these kids that are being bullied. So it's a nice little film. We have two of the dumbest films I've ever seen, Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber. I like the first one. The second movie does not exist. I know it's there, but it does not. The second one, I don't even know why it's called Dumb and Dumber, because I guess the value of what the movie could have made if it was good, but it doesn't even have Jim Carrey or Jeff Daniels in it at all. It has nobody besides Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy needed money after American Pie and decided he would do this stupid PG-13 film in 2004. So the second one sucks. The first one's a classic. One of my favorite Pete Farley movies, Dogma. This is my favorite Kevin Smith film. Zelma Hayek's great in it. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon play two fallen angels. I want to say, yeah, the fallen angels and they find a loophole to get back into heaven. And you have Alanis Morissette. She plays God. Chris Rock is in it. He does great. Jason Muniz, and Jason Lee plays the devil. Well, not the devil. Um, Alan Rickman is funny in the film. It's a great film. It's a little long, but it needs to be to kind of stretch out the story. Daddy Daycare and Daddy Day Camp. Daddy Daycare is the only one that I consider to be really good. Yes, it's dumb. Yes, it's stupid. But Daddy Daycare is one of my third favorite kids film, and Daddy Day Camp is not good at all. Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Billy Madison is one of the better 90s Adam Sandler films. He's really dumb in the film. This is one he, in my opinion, he started using voices, but they made sense for the type of character he was doing. He's really dumb, and the fact that he gets with his elementary school teacher, but he's an adult. Nowadays, I don't think that would fly. Let's see. Clerks 3. This one, Kevin Smith, I love you. You're a great writer, but this did not need to happen. If it was going to happen, it should have happened 5 years after Clerks 2. Not many years. Let me do math here. Not 16 to 17 years later. It doesn't need to be like that at all. So it's a not that great film. We have Clerks 2 and Zach and Mary. Zach and Mary is a very dumb film. Clerks 2 is my favorite out of the two because of how funny it is. I mean, and the fact that his characters can be in so many of his films without any reason, just to pop in and say hello. That's what Kevin Smith and Adam Sandler are different, in my opinion. They both kind of do characters and different characters coming into the films. Adam Sandler likes to incorporate a lot of the characters in his films. Kevin Smith can just have Ben Affleck come in. Mind you, he's done Oscar-worthy movies and literally say the most foul thing and have him walk out. Adam Sandler likes to keep them around. Kevin Smith is like, okay, you can go. That's what makes them That's what makes them different. Okay, we have Clerks, great 94 movie. One of an inspiration to me because I want to be a writer and filmmaker. Very good. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is the funniest, raunchiest comedy I've ever seen. And Chasing Amy is my number one favorite romantic comedy. It's such a out-of-the-box romantic movie. Jason Lee does a great side character. Ben Affleck plays a great main character. And I have to shout out Joey Lauren Adams. She does a great performance as Alyssa Jones. For film set of Adam Sandler, we have Clerks, Big Daddy, 51st Dates, and Mr. Deeds. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Big Daddy is probably my favorite Adam Sandler film because of how fun it is. I mean, this man-child adopts a boy, and at first he doesn't like the boy, but he grows attachment to it. Click is just alright. I mean, Click is literally Goosebumps did the movie 10 years prior. 51st Dates is just Rob Schneider. I mean, listen, I like it because Click has a Rob Schneider character, but he's very hit and miss. Big Daddy has a Rob Schneider character that I can enjoy. 51st Dates and Mr. Deeds have Rob Schneider characters I do not enjoy at all. The next one we have 5 iconic films of the 90s. So I only got this set for Superstar, Tommy Boy, and Wayne's World. I've seen Superstar. That's funny. I remember seeing that when I was younger. Molly Shannon plays her Catholic schoolgirl from SNL, and Will Ferrell, he gives it his best. Tommy Boy I haven't seen, and Wayne's World I have not seen. Clueless and Ghost I have not seen. Ghost is supposed to be a classic, and Clueless is supposed to be really stupid. Coming to America is not a great movie in my opinion at all. I think Eddie Murphy, again, he wasn't his raunchy self. He does play characters though, but he's not funny in my opinion. And Arsenio Hall is not that funny in it. So it's one of his. I think Beverly Hills Cop is my favorite that he has done in the 80s, at least. Um, Let me get my other ones. The Bad Moms, two movie set. The first one's funny. The Christmas one is not. The first one's funny in the sense that it's kind of, raunchy comedy. It's made by Scott Moore and John Lucas, who I think they had wrote on other raunchy comedies. The second movie does not have the same feeling, even though it was written by the same two people. So they're not good at all. Next up, we have Basketball. Haven't seen it. This is their first attempt, Trey Parker and Matt Stones, at a film. I've not seen it at all. I hope it's good though. I hope it's good. Bad Words, Jason Bateman. I have not seen this. I hear it's alright. Like a little independent film that he's done. So I hope that's good. Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton, John Ritter, Bernie Mac, and Tony Cox. I got this because the Eminem music video made it seem funny. The actual plot of the movie is not. I thought he was going to be really raunchy, but he's not. He's just sad and drunk. That's it. We have Booksmart. This is an alright film. I mean, this is just American Pie, but girls this time. And Superbad, but they're girls. Jason Sudeikis is funny. I think the lead character from she was in Last Man Standing. She gives a great performance. Her friend is Jonah Hill's sister, so I think it's alright. I think it gives a great kind of comedy to it. Let's see what else. Sorry. Bamboozled is a film about minstrelsy, and I don't want to show the cover, but it's a very fun film, very racist, but then you realize it was made by black people and it is meant to offend, so it's alright. I can't really show the cover because it's a little offensive, but it's funny. We have Bad Teacher. This is a stupid, raunchy comedy. Jason Segel gives it his best. Cameron Diaz is just annoying as the main character. And Justin Timberlake is dumb, but I do like the redhead from, both of them actually from The Office, I believe. And they're funny. Actually, this woman right here would be the voice of Sadness from Inside Out. Annie, the original one, from 1982, I believe. Yeah, it's alright. I mean, Carol Burnett's funny in it. Tim Curry is decent, so so it gives its best. A Million Ways to Die in the West, a really bad Seth MacFarlane comedy. This came off the heels of Ted, and a lot of people thought it was gonna be really funny. It's not. It's very stupid and just raunchy and offensive, but not in the way that Ted was. American Pie, the 4-film collection. These are easily like summer comedies. The first movie is great. The second movie is a little bit better. The third movie is decent. The fourth movie is on the same level as the first two. So the only one that's really decent is the third one. So that really shows something. The other ones, the American Pie Presents, they're just stupid, raunchy cash cows milking off the fact that they're American Pie. These are the original kind of parodies. Airplane and Airplane 2. Haven't seen them. I know. Action Point is stupid. Stupid Johnny Knoxville doing stunts. Johnny's fun, so that's one reason I got it, because Johnny Knoxville is a very funny guy. We have Austin Powers, all three of them. The first two are great. When you get to the third one, it kind of gets dried out. Anchorman, the last comedy we have up here, not funny. The cast is great. The cast is just people that will go on to be comedy legends in a lot of people's eyes. But just the script is very dumb. I like this guy though. The dude with the hat. Oh, he's funny, especially in The Office. Steve Carell is decent in the film, but yeah. Alright, that's it, guys. That's the end of my comedy movie collection. Tune in tomorrow for my horror section. Which, if you thought this video was long, wait till tomorrow, because that might be an hour long. Because I have a lot of horror films in my collection. So, this has been Nassim, aka DVD Collector, signing out. Bye.